How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about SOFI. I know it's been a while, but I wanted to make sure I give you guys an update. A lot of volatility that was happening inside of the market. So, you got to make sure that you're prepared for this. So before I get started, of course, I got to go over the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to make sure we have a game plan for all this volatility. And then secondly, we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. As far as for the short volume ratio, this will have an impact on the overall stock and the way it performs, and that's why I want to share it with you guys. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. In regards to Friday, where institutions loading up on large scale orders, we're going to be finding out. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more key details. So let's get into it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for SOFI. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing the day at $14.04, being up 1.59%. On the low, it tested $13.90, and then on the high, testing $14.27. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see it traded at 17.618 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 25.441 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, but we ended up having a lot of buying. You already see SOFI is fairly cheap, so we saw some appreciation in the stock price. When we take a look at the RSI down below, you can see it's well beaten up, being at 38.21, so this is in the oversold territory. Now when we take a look at our chart, you can see we are below all of our major moving averages here. Of course, they ended up releasing earnings, and again, they didn't meet expectations, so that's part of the reasons why we ended up having this strong sell-off. But one thing that we are seeing is consolidation and also support being built. So we could clearly see around this $13.70 level. Is this going to be the floor for SOFI? Hey, we're going to have to be patient, see what happens. But if that ends up being the case, then of course, I'm looking forward to seeing a strong move to the upside and seeing it get more comfortable in that $14 range. It did close at $14.04 and it did test $14.27 on the day. So as far as looking bullish, you'd want to see it gain some steam and being around $14.41. That's where we want to see it going into next week. I feel like if it can get to this area, then of course we can look forward to seeing further moves to the upside. As far as support is concerned, like I was saying previously, you want to see it continue to hold up this 1370 area. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information for SOFI. So as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we can see as of late for the 16th, we have a closed position from Millennium Management, and which was a call. Now, when we take a look at other positions in this short period of time, we can see for the 19th, we have FPX that went in with just over 406,000 shares. So that is fairly bullish right there, and it's good to take into consideration. And we also have Luxor Capital Corp on the 17th that went in with just under 400,000 shares, and we have Grosvenor Holdings that went in with just under 600,000 shares. So institutions have definitely been loading up on SOFI. So now when we take a look at the short interest, scrolling down on the page, you can see the short shares availability is at 10 million, updated 3 minutes ago, and for the short borrow free rate, it is at 0.68%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the close for the 18th, it was at 34.52, and the close for the 19th, it was at 37.23, but for the 20th, we have it at 25.23. 0.63. So it has been gone down quite a bit. So that is good to see, because that tells us as far as the overall market sentiment, it's a lot more positive. But one thing we do have to be aware of, it still continues to have short squeeze potential. Normally we tend to look for 21% or higher, and due to the fact that SOFI still fits within this criteria, it's definitely something you have to take into consideration for your strategy, whether it's short term and as well as for the medium term. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for SOFI. So we could see on the inflow it was 69.86, and on the outflow it was 45.66. So on the large, it was 24.06. On the medium, it was 25.54. And then on the small, it was 20.26. On the outflow side, on the large, it was 1.78. And on the medium, it was 25.46. And on the small, it was 18.42. So you can see it was a clear inflow day. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for August the 20th on Friday being at 22.28 million. And we saw this clearly when we saw the discrepancy between the large on the inflow and as well as on the outflow side. But we could see, as far as for outflows are concerned, for that past week, we'd had outflows on the 19th, the 17th, and as well as the 16th, but compared to what we got on the 20th, they don't even come close. So I call it an inflow week for SOFI. This is great to see, and as far as the setup going into next week, I'm going to look forward to seeing a further spike from the current levels. Like I was saying, if you are buying options, of course this could be very profitable. If you're going to be swing trading off of shares, you need to figure out what is the right time for you to actually take profits, whether you're looking for $1 per share, $1.50 plus, and so on. Now, since this is a growth stock at the end of the day, I can see some continued volatility going on throughout the week, but this is of no surprise due to the fact the way how the market conditions have been. So now let's jump into the final thoughts and as well as some more key details. So for my final thoughts on SOFI, yes, they ended up putting out earnings not too long ago, and they did not meet Wall Street expectations, and it's part of the reasons why we ended up having a pullback inside of this stock. So I'm going to be very interested to see how it performs for this coming week. So when we went on Fintel and we were taking a look at the short interest information, it continues to have short squeeze potential, but also we do see institutions have been loading up on shares, and we know they're not going to be doing this if they do not see a potential return on their investment. I believe in SOFI for the long term, and it's part of the reasons why, even pulling back going into the $13 range, I added some shares, and you already know that I was happy about that. If you're thinking about purchasing shares, then I highly suggest you do more homework and you do more due diligence. This is a growth stock at the end of the day. So when you get all that volatility and you see all that price fluctuation, I want to make sure that you can maintain a leveled head if you are deciding to buy this stock. Don't just blindly buy it because you heard about it on social media. And also, if you're trying to play off of the short-term fluctuations or short squeeze potential, or because it's just getting a lot of attention overall in general, then make sure you have a strategy that is right for you and that works for you. Do not be influenced. Do your homework. See how the stock moves. See how the stock fluctuates. Does it move at dollar at a time? When does it move? How does it react when the market is actually performing in a particular fashion? By keeping a close eye on SOFI and seeing how it reacts with the market and how it performs when its particular sector is seeing a lot of inflow, then you can have a good idea of how to actually play this stock. And it's the same thing that we do inside of the private Discord. And if you want some help with coming up with a strategy, then you can check out the link that is down inside the description. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.